Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to share about how we can easily set up a network adapters when we are working with VirtualBox. So I will be showing you how normally I prefer to set the VirtualBox adapters and which would be the methods that I would be using. So basically I prefer these two adapters whenever I am setting up my VirtualBox setup. The first one is your bridged adapter. So bridged adapter, what does this do? This will actually go ahead and use your actual device adapters like your Ethernet adapter or your wireless adapters for connecting to your guest system. So this device drivers, the device actual drivers will be used for making the network settings on your virtual systems or the guest systems. So this helps in making internet connectivity as well on my virtual machines. So I prefer to use bridge adapter whenever I need to go ahead and use internet setup on my VMs. So maybe I need internet for various RPM downloads, for any package downloads, any specific needs, I will use and prefer the bridge adapter. And the second adapter that I prefer to use is your host only adapter. So this host only adapter is a virtual adapter that is created whenever you have installed your virtual box, and you can use these adapters to set up a network connectivity between your guest systems, and those guest system can talk to your host system as well. So the host only adapter mostly are used to create some type of your internal network. So I prefer to create it for my internal networks. So like if I am doing some type of Oracle rack setup or high availability setup where I need multiple IPs, let's say some IP starting with range 192, some IP starting with range some 10. So I create multiple adapters and use those adapters to make interconnectivity between the VMs. Okay, so now I am going to show you how I use them and how we have to configure them easily and quickly. Okay, if you want to read more about the adapters, the other adapters that are available, you can go ahead and read on the virtualbox.org for the various adapters that are available. Okay, so let's go and see how we configure them. So now if you see, this is my virtual box manager where I am going to go ahead and use various machines. So for each machines you can prefer your settings. So if I open this OEL7 demo machine and click on settings, so you have a tab called as network. If you go here, so you can define 4 adapters. So these will be 4 adapters which you can define. So the first adapter which I have already defined is called as your bridge adapter. If you can see it here, this adapter is already attached to this guest machine. So all in all, I can have 4 adapters attached to my particular guest machine or the VM machine. So I have selected bridge adapter. So what the bridge adapter is doing, it is using my wireless adapter WLP2S S0. This is my wireless adapter. Okay, whereas ENP is my Ethernet adapter or the LAN cable that you connect via RJ45. If you are in Windows, you might see your Intel Gigabit or some wireless adapter that you can see from your adapter settings. Because I am using my host system as Linux again, so I am seeing like this. So if you are not aware, you can even go ahead in Windows, you can open command prompt and write the command ipconfig, or if I am on Linux, I can go ahead and use ipconfig on your Linux machine. So where you can see this is my wireless adapter. So in Linux machine, this starting with W would be a wireless adapter, and the ENP3 S0 would be your LAN adapter. Right now, no Ethernet LAN is connected, so it doesn't have any IP. Okay, even in Linux system you can see it from here that these are the wireless adapters that are being connected. So I can show you from the GUI as well. So these are the adapters that are connected. So this is unplugged because this is the Ethernet. This is the wireless that is connected right now. Okay, so this is my wireless adapter. Now the other adapter that I can attach, so I can attach 3 more adapters. So I prefer to use host only. Bridge only adapter I only prefer to use when I used to have internet settings. So I will keep it as it is. I will not make any changes to that. And I will attach one more adapter called as host only adapter. So whenever I want to assign a static IP, I want to create an internal network between multiple VMs, I will prefer to use my host only adapters. So right now if you see, it is taking my adapter, host only adapter is VBoxNet 0. So what is this adapter? Which is, it is picking up the name. So the name will be picked up by the virtual adapters that gets created. So whenever we go ahead and install VirtualBox, you will see the virtual Ethernet adapter. So in Windows it would be virtual box Ethernet adapters naming would be there, and in Linux based systems it would be VBoxNet 0. Okay, so let me show you. So how this adapter, you can create multiple adapters. It's not only one adapter, you can create multiple adapters here with a different IP range, and you can use any of those. So go to your VirtualBox manager, click on the host network manager. So from the host network manager you can see I have a VBoxNet 0 which is having an IP address 192.168.56.1. So this will be in this range. So whatever IP that would be associated would be in this range. If you want, you can go ahead and create one more adapter. Okay, so if I create one more, you can see a new IP range would be there. So you can define this IP. It's not that you have to have the same IP. So let's say I will give it an IP range as 10.10.10.1. So I want the other IP to be in this range 10.10.1, and I will apply. Okay, and I will go ahead and enable. So if you want to have a dynamic protocol, so you can have a DHCP server as well, or you can just close it for now. So IPv6 if you want you can set, but IPv6 if you are not using you can leave it blank. So I have left it blank and close it. So right now I have two cards, network interface cards that are on two different IP ranges. So let me go to the settings, and what I will do, I will simply go ahead and attach both. Okay, so if you are on Windows, you will see as soon as you create it, you can go to your if ipconfig command on the command prompt, and if I go ahead, like I am doing if config because I am on Linux. If you are on Windows, you can do ipconfig, and you can see you have two new adapters here. One would be in this range, the other would be in this range. So whenever you assign IP, so you have to make sure that which particular network interface card, or this is a virtual network interface card that you are going to use. So I am going to use both ones and show you how we are going to assign the IPs then. So these would be static IPs. So I will select network host only adapters, and I will select first one for VBoxNet 0 and the second one for VBoxNet 1. Okay, and click OK. As soon as I click OK, click on start, and my machine would be started. So my system is up. I will try to log in. Okay, now you can see this is a GUI based system, but I will first show you how to set it in GUI based system, and then how we can do it using the command line interface. Okay, so now if I am on GUI mode, if you can see one adapter is connected, other two are not connected right now. Same thing you can see from the terminal as well. you can simply do, I will go to root user and I will do fconfig command, as this is my Oracle Enterprise Linux, and you can see total you have 3 adapters interfaces: ENP0S3, ENP0S8, ENP0S9. So this is my bridge adapter from where my internet is working, and other 2 adapters are still not configured, so which I will use them to configure. So first one I will show you using the GUI. So if I go to the settings here and settings, so I want to give it a static IP rather than giving it a dynamic IP. So first one I will just go ahead, and you can see it is not showing me any specific entity here. So what I will do, I will just simply go here and try to click connect. So as soon as you click connect, you can see it is connected. Okay, but as soon as it connects, what it will show you, if config, it has taken an IP in the same range what we have seen from the virtual host network manager. See, it was in the same range 192.68.56. So in the same range it has picked up the IP, but that is a dynamic picked IP. Okay, I want to make it static. So what you can do, go to the settings of this adapter and make sure connect automatically is enabled. Even you have to do the same for bridge adapter. Identify, it's fine. You want to give it any other name, you can make that changes. And right now you can see the IP method is DSCP or the dynamic protocol. So what I will do, make it manual, and but remember you have to give the IP in the same range. Okay, don't change that IP range, okay, else it will not work. If you are giving an IP in some other range like 10.10, it will not be able to work. So 192.168.56 dot, let's say I will put 11, and my net mask could be the same as my interface mask, which was here, which we have seen here, which was this properties, and 255.255.255.0. So I will use the same, and that's it. No DNS, no routes, and apply. And I will just switch off and turn on my system adapter, and if I do if config, now my IP is changed to 192.168.56.11 or 11. So now if you can see, you can connect it from your specific command prompt or your putty or your terminal. So if I see it, show it from here, if I try to connect SSH Imanshu @ and this IP, so 192.168.56.11. so it is now connecting to my virtual machine, the same host name, fun OEL7 server, right? So we have successfully configured one host name. So normally I prefer to use the host only adapters for my internal networks, so that the systems or the VMs can talk internally with each other, and even the guest system or the host systems can talk to the guest, and guest can talk to your host systems. Now we want to set up our second adapter. So what we have to do, first check the adapters, if config, my adapter ENP0S9. So what I will do, I will go to cd etc sysconfig network scripts, and we have 2 adapter settings here, the if configuration file for 2 adapters. One is for ENP0S3, other one is for if CFG wired connection 1. That was the previous adapter where we have not renamed. if you remember the settings, we have not renamed it. So this is the wired set connection details here. This is the identity, the wired connection. So we can have change also, but leave it for now. And I will copy it and make a new file. But the name of the new file, I will keep it as enp0s3, so that we know this is for this file. So now we have this file. Now what I will do, we have to edit this file, because again we want to make it static. So static, remember the parameter boot proto is none. If it is dynamic, it should be DHCP. Okay, now what we are going to do, we have to change the IP address and the name. So the name I will go ahead and change it to enp. What was the name? enp0s9 0s9, and the IP address, because this has to be in the range. So what I will do, xxx 10.10.10.11. Okay, but remember you have to also change the hardware. Okay, this is a different hardware. This is the MAC address of the virtual network interface. Okay, so that also needs to be changed. So how to find what is the network interface here? I will close it, go here, go to the settings of the machine, and if you go to the network adapter 3 in advanced, the MAC address is 0800, just a second, 080027, then you have E0D0BE. .10.10.11. I will come here. Simply go here. And E0D0BE. E0D0 BE. Okay, and the UID. So this is the unique identification of that device. So I will remove it for now, because this is copied from the previous adapter, and save it. Okay, so now right now our file is saved. Okay, now the file is done. We will start it if up. Okay, so the adapter is successfully started. If you see, it is connected as well. And if you do if config, so it has taken the IP as 10.10.11. Okay, and running on the different MAC address. So the MAC address is important. You have to make sure that it is mapped to the current MAC address, or you can do in the GUI mode. Now if we go ahead and connect, so let me exit. So I can connect via this IP as well, 10.10.10.11. Yes, we will just enter the password, and we are connected to the server from this IP also. So that IP is working as well. So this is how we go ahead and create networks for our machines. So for breed adapter, simply we normally make sure that settings are correct, and you just have to validate those settings are fine and make sure that it is connected automatically. So if you want to start stop what we are doing from here on and off, you can do it using the if up and the interface name, and if down to set it down and the interface name, so that interface will go down. Like I will just do enp0s9, so it will successfully disconnect. So now this is off right now, and we can again start it back. Okay, so this has been successfully started. Okay, so our IPs are working as required.